Brian Lynch, welcome to Cool Times Podcast, buddy.
Welcome back
Welcome back.
to Cool Times.
Great to be with you. Great to return. I really appreciate the return invitation. Lots going on with CEBA and the broader GCCA. So great time to check in. I think it's probably at least been 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 since we last chatted. So I think it's a great opportunity to kind of connect.
This is always, Brian, the best time to do our podcast with you annually, because this is the beginning of the year and everyone wants to know what's going on with CEBA, when these conferences are, when's GCCA.
You need to get them on your calendars.
What's up with the board? What's up with the CEBA Pro? We have a lot to talk about. You did a very nice job giving us a detailed list of everything we need to go over. So the floor is yours, Brian. Why don't you, for the new listeners, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do for the organization, and let's go there.
Sure. Yeah, for those who might be new listening, name's Brian Lynch, and I very fortunate to serve as the executive director of CEBA since early 2022. Great part of my job, thoroughly enjoy it, and have been absolute blast working with the board and the executive committee in growing the value and the value proposition that CEBA delivers to its members. My other day job is I serve as executive vice president of business development for GCCA, the Global Cold Chain Alliance, which is a close partner of CEBA. And so in that role, I oversee our global membership, our global business development. So essentially a lot of our growth and revenue strategy across the alliance, inclusive of CEBA, but across the alliance, including our foundation and our warehouse and transportation businesses as well. So that's a little bit of the role I play. I joined in July of 2020 and continue to just have at it today. So we've accomplished a lot together, and really excited about what 2025 has in store for CEBA and GCCA.
Yes.
Nice. Do you want to let the listeners know what CEBA stands for and some of its missions and visions?
Sure.
And values?
It'd be my honor to. Yeah, the Controlled Environment Building Association, otherwise known as CEBA. Really, our vision for CEBA is really to be there for anyone looking to build, renovate, modernize first-rate innovative facilities as it relates to designing, contracting, manufacturing, and engaging those suppliers. The best of the best, so to speak, is who CEBA represents when you're dealing with controlled environment building. So really our mission is to represent those expert builders who specialize in the design and construction of controlled environment buildings. That includes warehouses, cold storage warehouses, food processing facilities, grocery distribution, grocery processing facilities, pharmaceutical, food service. We're getting more and more members that are engaged in other aspects like clean rooms or perhaps energy sector, healthcare, et cetera. Anywhere that needs a controlled environment that needs to be built to a very certain specification and that needs the expertise in which to do it. We do have the top experts in the field globally that are engaged to do it. While a lot of our DNA is here in North America, it's continuing to expand as the membership grows and our value proposition grows moving forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we have experienced a lot of growth within the cold storage industry. What kind of growth have you been seeing within the organization, within the association for CEBA and for GCCA over the past few years?
Sure. We've been very fortunate kind of coming in, mid-pandemic,
Yes.
Certainly before the vaccines were out, and being a very engaged alliance across all of our membership categories that really rely on in-person connectivity, not only at our events, but out there in the marketplace too, right? You can't build a building unless you show up to build it, right? So
Exactly.
very early in the pandemic, we realized, hey, it's really critical that we get out as soon as humanly possible and continue to drive value for our essential members. There wasn't a membership category that we had, whether it's warehouse, transportation, or on the construction side of things, that wasn't absolutely essential. The fact that folks ate and had access to affordable food and safe food and drugs and other things that they required to survive through the pandemic and all the way through today was absolutely critical that we make sure that we get out there and that we're serving our members. So we spent a lot of time doing that early on and really built a strong, even a stronger value proposition moving forward, given our essential nature of our members. So on the CEBA side, we've been very, very fortunate today. We're just under 300 members. And I would say that split is almost 50% contractors, and then roughly 50% the manufacturing and supplier community that serves into those facility development type of projects. We also have a growing end user community within CEBA as well, that's participating more at our board level, at our conferences and our events and our training as well. And so that's a growing constituency that we would have. From a conference perspective, we have grown more than doubled the conference. I think in 2021, we were roughly 230, 250, maybe something like that, all in. And I think we just closed out November with over 550 attendees, just a smash sellout, which really speaks to the amount of value that CEBA is delivering in its membership, the how engaged its members actually are. And then I think Vince and Jenna, I think you recall, I think before every one of these conferences, we asked folks to raise their hand if they're new.
Yeah.
There's a good 70, 80 folks in the last 2 to 3 years that are raising their hand as new, which is great. We're getting deeper. It means we're getting deeper inside of our CEBA member companies. I know you all and Freeze Construction really dig deep and bring a whole crew, which is amazing. And thank you for that.
You bring the Army, man.
Bring the Army, and they're getting a lot of value out of it and growing the business as a result. And so a lot of folks are catching on to that, whether you're a contractor or a supplier or manufacturer, and the community's really building. I dedicate a lot of that credit to the leadership of the executive committee over the years, as well as our board. We spent a lot of time, as you know, Vince, working as a past chairman, really trying to get the leadership team right, and then as an extension, kind of the broader board correct as well. And so we've done a lot of work putting in the right kind of bylaw changes and guidance there to allow for some rotation across the alliance, which has allowed more companies to participate in more meaningful ways. We also spent a lot of time with the executive committee on our committees and councils, as you know.
Yes.
Very big way that folks get engaged through the alliance, and we can get into that a little bit further there. But it's not just showing up and not just shaking hands at a booth and networking and leaving. There are many, many layers of value that CEBA continues to deliver on. And really, it starts with that executive committee, which you've been such a big part of, Vince, in the past, as well as our broader board, as you know. We've done a really good job kind of activating and getting them engaged, and they are really bringing their companies to the forefront because of the value that they themselves are delivering through their leadership.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I was on the board at one time.
I'm
And then the
sorry
new
to hear.
bylaws kicked me off the board.
As a past chairman, you're kind of emeritusly always on the board there, Vince. You're good.
That's
to go.
why I voted for it. I was okay with it because I'm always on the board.
I know my favorite was when he got his letter, like it's not a resignation letter, but like a termination letter. I was like, this feels weird.
I know.
Yeah, it's great.
I've been a part of CEBA forever and on the board forever and served for 12, 14 years, something like that. And I'm glad I'm a past chair and I get to still be a part of everything. I don't have voting rights, but I think it's cool that we created that. It's a committee, right? Past chairs committee. Council.
Oh, it's so great. I think it's, Sam said it well at our past chairman's dinner. Sam Titman, our current chairman, said it well at our past chairman's dinner last year down in Florida. He mentioned, hey, we're all have the benefit of really standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And I really put that to all the past chairmen and officers and board members of CEBA for sure. Without getting it to where it's gotten, and without the leadership to be able to and being brave enough to kind of look around the corner, the leadership team has done an incredible job of guiding us to a whole new level of success and allowing CEBA to deliver value to a much bigger community out there. Look, I think we've talked about it at length at not just the CEBA board, but we talk about it at GCCA and the foundation board as well. It doesn't do anybody good to have bad buildings being built and impacting the very critical and essential supply chain we have in these key areas around the globe. And so I think CEBA gets that loud and clear and have invested significant time, effort, and energy based on a lot of that vision that yourself and folks like Tim Wynn and Brian King and Marco really challenged the board to really think through and move forward, which really got us to growing our conference the way it's growing, to growing the membership, as well as, launching new, programs that will really shape the future of CEBA, like CEBA Professional.
I echo what Sam said because I was blessed to follow, behind Brian King and Tim Wynn, such fantastic leaders in the industry and smart and invaluable. I mean, they're fantastic. And I'm so proud of the direction we've gone now. I mean, Marco did a fantastic job. Love his stage presence. He's one of the funniest guys.
He really is.
We just had him on the show, and he was our guest number one, wasn't
It
he?
was our first, our
Marco
first
was our first podcast.
guest.
So we had
That's
him
awesome.
again. There's a lot of new stuff going on with Cold Box that he talked about, which is cool. But Sam's fantastic. Having Scott Gimond and Mike Jones, like the lineup is incredible. So the future of CEBA is in great hands.
Mm-hmm.
We get phone calls every day about CEBA and
Yeah,
new
me too.
contractors like, hey, why should we join? And how
Mhm.
do I join?
Or
And
what is it?
what is it? And so
The interest is there. And that's the good thing. People are
is.
asking the questions about it. So
It is. It's great. So for someone listening that doesn't attend CEBA, why should they attend CEBA? And if they were wanting to attend CEBA and become a member, why should they attend and how do they become a member?
Sure. Happy to answer that. Yeah, it's really easy to become a member. Just reach out, give me and my team a call, and we'll get you on the phone and walk you through all the amazing benefits that CEBA and the Alliance have to offer there. What I tell a lot of firms that show interest in this area that might not have been involved with either GCCA or CEBA in the past, and there's plenty, believe it or not, that do call us, and really we walk them on a little bit of a journey. I share a lot of what we've talked about earlier today, but at the end of the day, CEBA is all about achieving recognition, right? And we've got really three paths to do that. One, we focus on building future talent. We do that with our CEBA professional training program. We do that with our content related to the conference that's out there. It's part of every part of discussion that happens in every hallway between a supplier and a contractor and or an end user that's out there. We're constantly promoting the value of CEBA and how CEBA folks' commitment to best practices, to an incredible community of leaders and subject matter experts sets them apart from what else is out there. And we have other recognition programs like Built by the Best, in addition to CEBA Professional, that fully support that. And then we're very focused on delivering expertise, right? And actually delivering what we're saying we're doing, right? Which is really your all's job out there in the marketplace and making sure that you're doing a bang up job, regardless of the channel in which your customer is operating or who you're working with. Clearly, we see it a lot in Built by the Best and everywhere else. That network of you delivering, on budget, ahead of budget, or on time, and delivering an excellent product is really a culmination of that hard work and collaboration that you have with so many CEBA members that allows that deliverance of that project or that particular, focus area or facility to really turn into future business for you. And that network within itself is, as you all could probably attest to, is I know you can attest to, just generates business within itself, and it generates that strong network of competent experts that deliver every time. And that's really what we're after with CEBA. That's really where we're focused. And that's what all of the programs, whether it's the conference, whether it's specific training or any kind of, insight committee work that we do, it's to raise all ships to allow us to be better.
Does.
Mm-hmm.
It allows for partnership and confidence.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many times, I reach out to CEBA members, even competition. I'll lob Shane Potts and Steve Hoffman at Metal Fab a call and say, hey, I've never seen this detail before. What do you do? Right? Like, it creates a network of community, and it's a really, really cool organization. And I love it even more that we have all taken that step further to provide higher education.
Yes.
And come out with what we are calling the CEBA Professional, CEBA Pro.
Mm-hmm. And so you had one this past year, the first one. Tell us about that, and then tell us the next opportunity that if people are interested in this, when is that happening? How can they be a part of the CEBA Pro?
Sure. So yeah, just to remind your listeners what CEBA Professional is. When we talk about building future talent, when we talk about developing expertise and ultimately to get recognized, all CEBA members really to be recognized for the expertise that they bring to bear here, we're looking for things that, from a membership perspective, that sets us apart. And so the Education and Training Committee, this is really a dialogue that's probably well over a decade. Vince, you can attest to it. I'm sure you can too, Jenna. But I would say about 3 or 4 years ago, we really started to focus in on it as a deliverable through our Education and Training Committee. And we're encouraged by the board to really look at it, come up with some pathways to develop this program. And so we did. We spent about a year working on it through various different working groups and subject matter experts in key areas. And we developed a curriculum really around four key areas. One being principles of product safety regulation. That's not necessarily safety as you think about it as a contractor.
Sure.
That's more like how your customers or your end users are looking at it. Ultimately, the building that they're building is protecting what, and what are the agencies, what are the rules, what are the codes that they have to navigate in order to deliver that. Your understanding of that and your team's deeper understanding of that will set you apart in the marketplace. So that's
Absolutely.
the first category that we teach in this course. The second building is really just kind of going over the fundamentals of key understanding building concepts, most of which are unique just to controlled environment, but do share some broader, building concepts that are out there too. But it really begins the specialization around controlled environment. And then specifically, we jump into like knowledge of all the controlled environment building systems, how they interact with each other, how they, certain sequences that you put things in, key considerations that are out there, and how to work with your end user in doing it. And then lastly, we've got a big section around a lot of the environmental impacts and energy system impacts as it relates to that particular market. They might have, let's say in the Northeast, you're going to have a very different, in the United States, you're going to have a very different type of building code environment that you're working in probably than in the Southeast, than on the West Coast. And so we talk through a number of those different systems, how they interact with each other, and things that you may want to consider when dealing with customers in these various regions out there. So it's this great 4-part curriculum that we've developed, that it's about a 3-day training module that we've created in person. So it's 2 full days of instruction led by CEBA board members, end user, GCCA and foundation board members. So the top of the top, the experts, many of your colleagues on the board there, Vince, as well, that participate.
I like that.
Yeah. And so it's really fantastic. We did our pilot last April. It was a smashing success there. There is a test at the end. It's kind of like our bar exam.
Sure.
So this isn't just
heard all about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you did. And that was developed by industry for industry as well. That is directly related to the curriculum that we present there. And that continues to go through a continuous improvement refinement each and every class as we move forward. So we had a very successful pilot in April in Atlanta, and then moved along to Dallas last fall. So we had a really good kind of putting the water through the pipes there, so to speak, and got a lot of very valuable feedback. So I'm thrilled to share with you. We'll be in Atlanta. I want to say it's April 6th through the 8th in Atlanta. And that will be we're going right back to the Weston Airport, right in ATL. And that the idea, the concept here is this is solely focused on the training. So there isn't a bunch of receptions or dinners or anything like that. Folks are going there to study, to learn, and to take the test and to pass it to differentiate themselves. So it's a little bit of a different experience than what we've done with other things.
We doing this?
I mean, eventually we're doing it.
It's funny because I had all our project managers. I'm like, hey guys, we need to be CEBA pros. You need to go to Dallas and sign up and blah, blah, blah. And the entire time our guys are like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds cool, blah, blah, blah. And like, we're like days before going, and they're all like, are you staying at the hotel? Are you driving back and forth? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm actually out of town. I can't go. And they're like, wait, you're not doing this? Like, no, man. That's why I got you guys. I couldn't attend. I already had, I think it was Gary's 70th birthday party in Montana.
Definitely wasn't. My dad's birthday's in October.
Or October, I mean. Is it October? We were somewhere.
It was. I think it was October. It might have been.
It was October.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were gone in Montana, and I'm like, oh, I can't. So I would love to attend this one in April.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, what I'll also share with you, we haven't signed it quite yet, but we're also looking at the first week of August in Chicagoland. So right near O'Hare.
Okay.
So we've got both April and Atlanta for 2025 that I can share with you. We're about ready to announce those dates. The second we get the ink signed on the contract, you'll all be the first to know it for sure.
Awesome. Great.
Cool.
But the other distinction Freeze Construction has is, I think Luke Waite is now our first board member who officially has the CEBA professional designation.
Is that true?
Wait.
That is correct.
There you
That
go.
is technically correct. A
That's
sitting
hard
board
part.
member with the actual designation.
That's
So,
amazing. Wait, I have
That
some.
may change in the next class, but currently that is the situation.
Congratulations, Luke.
Can you hear our soundboard?
No.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
Good.
We were playing soundboards.
good. I was playing soundboards. He's like, no, I played the party horn.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty exciting to have CEBA Pro on the CEBA board.
How many
And to have it be like-
registrations you take for your class in April?
Sure. So we've got, we can take upwards of 40 to 45 students per
Okay.
class for the 2025 classes. We got some larger class size. I think the other thing I'd like to just highlight too, to make sure everybody understands, when we launched it in 2024, we wanted to get it right. And so I don't want to say restricted, but we basically restricted it to CEBA contractor companies only to
Okay.
test it out, to make sure we got the feedback to move it along. We
Mhm.
felt very confident that the current curriculum was just as relevant for suppliers and end users as was for contractors as well. So we've gone ahead and opened that up. So it is for the full CEBA membership has the opportunity to participate in these classes if they desire to do so, as well as folks from the GCCA end user community. So those folks that are building the buildings, the development executives that are out there, we'd love to have them engage. And we've got a few signed up, I think, in April as well.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic. I talked to a couple of folks that are like, yeah, you're going to come to Atlanta. So I know a couple of people already signed up, which is very exciting.
Mhm.
It's either that or we're going to Chicago in August.
Yep.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But we do want to do it together. So
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we'd love to have you. And your team did a great job when they were here, with us in Dallas last year. So there's always a seat open for both of you.
I love that. And you mentioned, our very own Luke Waite. Love him. He is now on the board. You have a very outgoing, fun character on your board now. Congrats. That board has changed. We have a lot of new faces. How big is the board now? And do you have plans to increase the board?
Sure. Yeah, I think we're right. I think we're just under, I want to say we're 27 or 28, I think fully loaded right now.
Mhm.
There's a current bylaw limit that limits that to 29 currently. And then, as you know, the executive committee kind of keeps it's not in the bylaws necessarily, but we've got kind of a standard operating procedure of what that representation looks like as far as the number of seats for contractors versus thermal contractors versus suppliers versus end users. So those are things that we're always working with very closely with the executive committee and then ultimately the board to pass any of those bylaw changes. So we're taking a look at that for 2025 and beyond. And so our new president and CEO, Sarah Stickler, may have, some bylaw proposals that we'll work through the executive committee, including looking at that number as well. There's been some discussion around, hey, is there an opportunity to bring on, more folks in the end user community? Or are there certain categories of members that we want to think about moving forward that maybe we haven't thought about in the past? So all of those things the board will discuss, the executive committee will discuss and make some proposed guidance on that, I think, through the board in 2025.
Awesome. And if someone wanted to be a member of the board, if they want to try to get on the board, what would they need to do?
Sure. What the board always looks at, and I know, Vince, you've been part of our nomination process, both as somebody coming in and going through the nomination process yourself, as well as governing it as your various seats in the officership, so to speak. And so the executive committee serves as the nomination committee for the CEBA board. And so we go out with a call for nominees. It's usually late summer, very early fall in preparation for the November board meeting. We keep that open maybe 30, 45, 60 days. So we encourage folks to submit their name if they're interested in becoming part of the board. One of the things that the board and the executive committee look at is, hey, have you been involved with CEBA in the past? Are you involved in our committees? Do you show up or speak at our conferences? How are you contributing to the membership? That is really kind of the first line and layer that they look at. Obviously, which member company are they with? What's your role inside that company and leadership role? But how engaged and how supportive have you been of CEBA over the last 4 or 5 years in particular? And so those are kind of the early obstacles to try to overachieve. And so my recommendation for folks, if they're interested, is yes, get in your name and get it in early. So you're there and we're looking at it and considering it, but also get your experience and your contributions up and your involvement and engagement up. If you do those things, that makes the review process a little bit more in your favor as we look at it. Obviously, we want folks that are known quantities and that have a history of supporting and growing the organization. Those are the type of individuals we're looking to have on our board.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you mentioned committees. There's 3 committees.
We've got a little bit more than that now. We've got Education and Training Committee, which is focused on developing CEBA Pro, refining it, as well as some of our conference programming as well.
Okay.
We have our Business Development and Marketing Committee. And that's, by the way, our education and training is led by Mike Jones, who's also the treasurer of our board currently. Scott Guimond from Fisher leads our business development and Marketing Committee as vice chair of CEBA. And that group is focused on our Built by the Best awards. It's also focused on promoting kind of membership value that's out there, anything that we can do to really hit on that recognition piece of our value proposition they're wrestling with at all times. We also have our Codes Committee, which is a joint committee with GCCA. And that is just like it sounds. We get roll up our sleeves, get really technical, get all up into the different codes that are out there and advise and provide guidance to other standards bodies that might be out there from the controlled environment perspective. Right now, Jim Romine from Lineage, who runs their development, is co-chair of that, along with Josh Cronin from Archold with that committee. And then lastly, we just started a new committee last year, our international committee, which is really recognizing the global interest that we're beginning to get into CEBA from Latin America, from Europe. A lot of the markets that GCCA operates in, that development conversation is just as critical, if not more, as it is here in North America. And a lot of the world looks to us here in North America, and in particular the US, as real leaders in this space. So they're very interested in what you're doing out there, as well as the things that are applicable in their markets. And there's a lot of learning that goes the other way as well. We're learning from a lot of those markets, whether it's innovations in racking to automation, et cetera. A lot of that comes from overseas, and a lot of our members are very much picking up that intelligence that way.
I didn't know about that one. I knew the top three. I didn't know we added international. Yeah. Who's heading that one?
And then we've got, to your point, we already talked about it. We've just, brought on board our past chairman's council, which is really just to allow us to continue to tap in to that incredible perspective. Once you get involved here at CEBA, we never like to let you go, and for good reason. There's a lot of value that folks really bring to the table here. And as we think about and plot out the future, it's a great sounding board for the senior executive team, for the executive committee of CEBA and the overall board. And, we're looking into some recognition programs like Hall of Fames and things like that as well with that group too.
Wow. Very cool.
Very cool. And then y'all have a board meeting coming up.
We do. We will be in Atlantis in the Bahamas here shortly. It's going to be a joint board meeting with our CEBA board, our GCCA board, as well as our foundation board. We'll all be meeting there in, I think it's mid-May. The details of that are coming from our CEO's office here shortly. Okay. Beginning to hit inboxes here. But yeah, that's a great opportunity for us to kind of get together and kind of talk about how CEBA fits into the overall alliance, the value that it continues to bring.
You have the CEBA board that's going to be meeting in May. Are you guys going to be discussing the fall events? Do you have those set? What
we do
putting on our calendars?
We do, yeah. So what I tell a lot, and I'm kind of coming back to your original question, which I don't think I fully answered, which is, how do I tell folks how to get engaged and get the most out of their CEBA membership should they decide to join? And what I tell folks is, the in-person piece of this is absolutely critical. Whether or not you yourself can do it as an executive, or if you've got really strong reps in certain markets, or you've got teams that you're developing, think of CEBA and GCCA in that fashion.
Yes.
We highlight our cold connections here in North America in particular. If I'm dealing with a North American or US prospect, we have some of these smaller events called our cold chain connections. We'll be doing them in Atlanta, in Philly in April. We're also looking at Toronto as well as St. Louis this summer. And those are great 24-hour events where you get a really good sense of the priorities around warehouse. We have a huge amount of CEBA membership involvement in that from a participation and engagement perspective, as well as our transportation folks as well. And they're nice 24-hour events that are about anywhere from 85, maybe to 120 people that are kind of low cost, low time commitment, but allow you to kind of rub shoulders and develop relationships regionally. So by the time you come to us in the fall, whether it's GCCA's global convention or it's CEBA's conference and expo, you've got great relationships already, and you're not walking into, hey, there's 660 or 550 people I don't really know. You probably know 50 or 100 of them now, even walking in as a new member. And so we walk people through that kind of phase, and we've seen the most amount of success for those that take us up on that guidance. And it's really probably the most successful way you can quickly engage and ramp up quickly, inside of the cold chain. And because as you know, it's a very niche and a very, I would say, unique and exclusive group that can take a little while to break through. But once you're through, you're good. And so anywhere that we've been very careful working with James and the team here of really just trying to figure out a path that made sense for folks. And those that embrace that seem to do very, very well.
Awesome.
That's awesome. And if people are interested in coming to one of these cold chains, I know we might not have all of the dates. Where should they be looking
Sure.
to
If you
find
just,
this information?
GCCA's website, gcca.org, just click on the events menu, and that has all the variety of the different events that we do. And it's updated pretty live. As we get the contracts, we book them and get them up there. I think we've got the vast majority of them up there. There's a few international ones we might not have yet there, but the large conferences, both the convention as well as CEBA, and CEBA will be at 3 through 6 November, Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. So we're getting ready for that. And the team, the meetings team is kind of, going over our whole schedule and availability there so we can get out to market with that. We've been focused very, very, very closely on trying to get this information out quicker to folks. So I believe that here in the next 30 days, we should have both of those conferences up, registration open, and there's an opportunity to engage in that earlier, which, in the past, it's been a little bit closer to the event, but we see the advantage of trying to get it out earlier and been pushing the team to do that. And so I think we're in that spot here. So if you go to our events website here in the next 30 or so days, you're going to see the opportunity to actually register. I know the team is getting ready to reach out to all of our past exhibitors for both events.
Yes, I have y'all down. GCCA is in San Antonio this year, September 15th to the 17th. Right.
Yep.
And
we'll
then,
be at La Cantera. Yep.
We're going to blow it out of the water at CEBA in November, dude. November, CEBA is going to be out of this world. I've been talking to a million people about it. We are going to Frank Sinatra the crap out of this show.
Nice. We're thrilled with the demand we're already seeing. I mean, we're already, the incoming has been intense, and we're super excited about it. I think it just speaks to the hard work that the board and the leaders have been up to as far as driving the value proposition. It's hitting on every level right now.
Yeah. And just to be clear, we do not get compensated for sending people to CEBA. Everyone's like, man, what's up with that, man? You promote this a lot. I'm like, dude, I love the show. I love what they've given to us, and they've given so much back to us. And just in regards to providing a platform where we could grow and network and learn. And I love it. I love the show. Favorite, hands down.
Well, thank you. You guys are a big part of its success. So thank you. And again, I think it's just a testament to how valued the community is, right? This is such a unique group of experts that do incredible, nothing short of miraculous work that is out there that is so essential in everybody's life. So thrilled to see it thrive the way it should.
And we need to keep pumping the end users, because there are so many end users that are looking to build something and they have questions or don't know who to use. And quite frankly, there's so much value add to hire members that come to CEBA because they understand how to build a cold storage building, and they understand the latest technologies and systems, and they know how to build it. And I think there's so much value with that to hire CEBA members, in my opinion.
Well, if you think about it, the people who come to CEBA are investing in themselves. They're investing in their own growth and the growth of the organization and the industry as a whole.
Sure.
They're going to be on top of what is new, what is innovative, and people who are building new buildings, they're going to want that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a no-brainer.
It's the message right now is how can we get CEBA out in front of these end users where, you have a Cisco or US Foods or McLean Foods or someone out there that's building. How do you get it out in front of them saying, hey, y'all are building, you should know about us. How do we do that?
Well, I think continuing to do what we're doing. I think the CEBA professional will go a long way to that end, Vince and Jenna. That really begins to really set the ownership of that expertise inside of CEBA. I think we've always done a good job of attracting those folks, getting them engaged, building out our committee infrastructure, and really bringing value to the membership. This is the next level of value that I think begins to really open it up as far as the CEBA brand and what it delivers. This is an incredible vehicle to do that. And I don't even think we even fully understand. I know I don't even fully understand the real capability of what we've just begun to embark on, but I see that as a huge piece of this. In addition to that, we have also expanded our categories on Built by the Best to be recognizing additional channels of trade that might be out there from the processing community, et cetera. Previously, we were looking at that 35 million or over or under type of categories, we're beginning to put that into the DNA in some of our recognitions as well, and programs too. So I think you're going to see a lot more activity related to wanting to be recognized through CEBA now that we've even upped the establishment of our reputation even that much further here over the last 4 or 5 years. I think it's the next part of the evolution of our existence. It's something that I talk about with a lot of our CEBA members that are out there. It's a lot of things that, quite frankly, that our warehouse members ask about when I go visit with them as well. They ask me, what's going on with CEBA? Can I do the CEBA professional? We're really interested in that. Whether it's a small project, I just want to make sure that my folks have all the expertise that you all have. And especially if they're out buying the product and if they're out kind of evaluating these projects, I'm hearing a lot of that positive feedback. So that isn't exclusive just to cold storage. That is food service, that is grocery, that is all the other channels that we talked about as well.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It is.
It's exciting.
It's incredible. And we are just so blessed to have you as a part of the organization,
Yes,
Brian,
we are.
from your inception in 2020 to where you've taken us now. Like you have been such a huge pilot to us flying to those heights, man. I mean,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an honor and a privilege. So it's been
team.
a wonderful experience.
Roger is always,
Yeah,
everyone
whole
down.
team.
Your whole team's been fantastic. It's
Well,
been
thank
awesome.
you.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna have a good year. Is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to CEBA or GCCA? Anything up and coming that no one might not know about, or is there anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you both today and with your audience. So thank you. No, I mean, I think, we hit on a few. If you're looking to collaborate with the best of the best as it relates to controlled environment building, CEBA's the place to do it.
Yes.
You all are representative of that for sure. And the way you leverage it with the Freeze team and you really kind of bring your A game to each and everything that we do and really see that the value we deliver, whether it's training, whether it's at the committee level to the board level to what we experience at conference, being part of that is the first step. And you all have done a great job with that. So thank you for that. Thank you for allowing, us to be on the podcast and share with your listeners as well. And,
Absolutely.
I think just keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
I think we're just going to keep the momentum going and focused on driving that value. It's really that simple. We've got an airtight, strategic plan in place. We have incredible leaders. And so we can afford to be very focused in driving the business. So we'll continue to do that.
As we should. And you said best of the best. And that, that is, what CEBA has been known for now is these Built by the Best awards. I know you touched on a little bit, inviting new categories to that Built by the Best, but let's highlight that more. Built by the Best is a phenomenal program, and if winning that is a big deal.
It is.
There's some stiff competition out there. There's a lot of really good builders out there building some really cool projects, in my opinion.
Very unique projects. Yes.
So man, you look at that and let me tell you that Built by the Best is very cool. So you want to touch it? There's 3 categories of that this year.
Yeah, so we're touching on that a little bit. We've got a processor category. We also have just an end user warehouse category this year as well that folks can submit to as well. So we've broken it up a little bit different. We didn't make it just the dollar amount. It's kind of who you're serving and what kind of customer channel that you're playing in. And so we look at anywhere from processors, end users, third-party logistics, and usually those are always submitted by the CEBA member, primarily the contractor. The general thermal contractor submits that into us, and then we look at it. I think the submission window, so folks are aware, includes projects that were completed between 1 January 2024 and 31 March 2025. So if you've got a finished, completed building in that time spec there, it is eligible to be submitted for the Built by the Best program. And it's up on our website right now, and the submission forms and all of that are there and updated. And folks are highly encouraged to submit.
Yeah. So GCs sign up for this, right? We're a subcontractor. Right. We don't go in and put up one of our jobs.
Typically not. It's usually the general contractor. We also have now end users that are saying, hey, I want my building and this stuff in as well. Usually I would say folks that are aware ahead of time when they're building will give them the best chance of winning. As you look at it, anything from, using other CEBA members as part of your subcontractor community there that goes against the project are all factors into it.
Got it.
It is decided upon by a group of judges, which tend to be, either end users or general contractors that do not have an active project in the competition. So again, it's a tough crew to crack. It's it's a very tough end users that we've all worked for and have high expectations, as well as some real leaders from the general contracting community as well that factor into this. Isn't just GCCA or CEBA staff deciding who wins it. This is you're recognized by your peers and by the industry itself.
That's awesome.
Indeed, it is.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And finalists always have an opportunity to present at the conference, as well as we do a big splash in our Coldfax magazine across the whole cold chain there as well. All the finalists and then the winners and all of that, we go in great detail. So you really don't lose out. Even if you submit and you don't happen to win, you're still putting your project in front of some of the, some incredible eyes in the industry. You're still raising your profile by just participating in the process itself. For
Absolutely. Sure. And I want to be very clear to everyone that the winner has been decided before the show. So people that are presenting and have a very cool video and theatrics like that has nothing to do with how we vote on the winner, correct?
Yes, it has been decided before, but it's not announced until after. Correct. And there's a very limited folks that know
think
that.
Like whatever presentation is the best, that should be the winner, right? But that's not how we decide.
That's not how we decide. No, they're looking at literally the nuts and bolts of this thing, every angle. I would say there are video submission points and things like that are part of the evaluation and kind of the KPIs. That's piece of it, but that actual presentation itself is not scored for the actual award. It's what you built and how you built it.
Got it.
Correct.
Glad we cleared that up.
Well, I know I get a lot of questions about that.
You do, actually.
So
I've been around.
Clear the air. I'm just going to listen to the podcast. It's going to be good. Well, Brian, thank you so much. You're not going to get off the hook this easy. I got some this or that questions that we still do on this show.
Okay.
I do end the show with a brand new question.
It's a good one.
So there's no more Bieber or Timberlake. You have to decide. Okay. It's something totally different. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's dive in here real quick. We're going to get to know you a little bit better right now. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
Beach.
Netflix, binge, or go to the movie theater?
Netflix.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Concert or sporting event? Concert, yeah. Board game or video game?
Oh. With the family, board game. By myself, video game.
Yeah, amen to that. City life or country life?
Ooh. I like the suburban life. I like it like in between, kind of in between.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, your superhero power to be able to fly or to be able to be invisible?
I'll take flying.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And then last but not least, greatest sing-along song of all time. Let's see here. Where is my greatest sing-along song of all time?
It's either Journey.
It's either Don't Stop Believing by Journey or Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places.
Journey. We'll go with Journey.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Well, you survived my answer to that questions. I like it. Very cool. Well, again, thank you so much to all our listeners and our sponsors. Y'all make this possible.
This episode is brought to you by Jamison Door Company.
Discover the legacy of Jamison Door Company, pioneers in the door industry since 1906.
With a commitment to innovation and quality, Jamison doors are engineered to perform and built to last, meeting the highest standards for temperature control and durability. Ideal for commercial and industrial applications, Jamison provides customized solutions that ensure operational efficiency and energy savings.
Trust in the strength and reliability of a Jamison door to safeguard your products and streamline your workflow.
Choose Jamison, where every door opens a world of possibilities. This episode is brought to you by Fastener Systems, Inc., otherwise known as FSI.
Serving the entire cold storage industry, FSI is your go-to source for high-performance fasteners and thermal supplies.
Built to last, trusted by pros. Let's get to work.
You guys can listen to our work on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also watch it on YouTube. And you can see our highlight videos on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter X, Instagram, all the socials. We're on all of them. What's that?
The socials.
The socials. And my guy, we're going to see you soon, man.
Yes.
We will.
Appreciate you.
We do
and,
appreciate you so much.
Thanks for being on.
I appreciate you guys. And I think what you're doing with Cool Times is absolutely awesome. So keep it up. Great job.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.